The House Oversight Committee is now going after the DOJ, saying, hey, we tried to ask nicely and play in a compassionate manner with you, but things are going to have to escalate since you're not cooperating. The House announces a new letter demanding cooperation. Otherwise, they will go through a compulsory process and issue some subpoenas. They put this out May 4th. Comer says that the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia must testify about failure to prosecute the majority of the crimes. Otherwise, there will be a subpoena to compel your testimony. James Comer is reiterating his request over to the DOJ, in particular, sent a letter about U.S. Attorney Matthew Graves. And we've heard a lot about this guy in the January 6 prosecutions. They say during a recent committee hearing on oversight, a central theme was Mr. Graves' pattern of not prosecuting crimes in D.C. because they'd rather focus on the J6ers. The District of Columbia is a federal district under the exclusive jurisdiction of Congress. Unlike other attorneys in the DOJ, Graves is the only U.S. attorney who serves both the local and the federal prosecutor of his area of responsibility. Mr. Graves' unique role makes his testimony necessary to conduct meaningful oversight, especially regarding crime. So we'll take a look at the letter drafted here from Congress and the House of Representatives, the Committee on Oversight and Accountability, drafted by James Comer from Kentucky, the chairman. Letter sent over to the Honorable Merrick Garland, Attorney General of the U.S. DOJ. Comer says, all right, Mayor, the Committee on Oversight is conducting an oversight hearing on May 16th coming up to include officials responsible for the affairs of the D.C. area. We've invited several people. One is Mayor Muriel Bowser, who we would love to hear from. I've got a lot of questions for her about J6. And the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, that's Matthew Graves. Good. Got a lot of J6 questions for him, too. Mayor Bowser has accepted the invitation. Woo! So mark your calendars, my friends, for May 16th. The Department of Justice has informed the committee the DOJ has refused to allow Mr. Graves to testify. So Congress is unhappy about this. They say, well, the Department of Justice excuse is an internal policy that generally prohibits U.S. attorneys from testifying before Congress. But that excuse is unpersuasive, says Comer. It's also inconsistent with past precedent. Indeed, the DOJ has made a U.S. attorney available to testify at public hearings as recently as last Congress in 2022. Furthermore, Matthew Graves' testimony is necessary to enable the committee to perform oversight of city affairs of the D.C. area over which we've got jurisdiction. So, Comer says, I, therefore, reiterate my request for the appearance of Matthew Graves from the DOJ and demand that the DOJ follow its own policies and cease obstructing his appearance on May 16th. He says the District of Columbia is a federal district under the exclusive jurisdictions of Congress. Unlike other attorneys, Mr. Graves is the only attorney who serves the local and federal prosecutor for this area. His unique role makes his testimony necessary for oversight of the city, especially issues regarding crime. The DOJ recognizes the attorney's office has a unique role in this city, and in fact, DOJ had Graves testify at a D.C. Council Committee hearing previously in December 21. Comer continues. He says Mr. Graves and the DOJ and his office's decisions are contributing to rising crime in the city. At the oversight hearing in March, D.C. council members in part blamed the U.S. Attorney's Office for rising crime. D.C.'s blaming the feds. Graves' office is declining to prosecute violent crimes. As crime continues to spike throughout the district, Graves must be responsible to answer questions. In addition to contradicting past practice and obstructing the legitimate prerogatives of Congress, DOJ's position is also inconsistent with their own manual. They're violating their own policy by refusing to allow him to testify. And so Comer says, we urge the DOJ to reconsider its position, make Graves available to testify. Please respond to this letter very soon and let us know. If you continue to obstruct congressional oversight in this matter, Congress will be forced to consider the use of compulsory process on your butts. For any question, please consider the committee and contact our committee and give us a phone call. Don't forget, just like Liz Cheney liked to say in her illegally constituted committee, the Committee on Oversight has broad authority to investigate any matter at any time under House Rule 10. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Sincerely, your friend, James Comer. Oversight Committee and Accountability, copied Jamie Raskin. So a nice letter going over there. We would love to hear from both Muriel Bowser and Matthew Graves. Now, what's curious about this is they don't mention January 6th at all. And it sounds like this is only going to be about crime in D.C. And part of the reason for that is they probably want to keep this separated, right? There's probably some jurisdictional overlap. They can't openly investigate J6 stuff because that was within the purview of the J6 Select Committee. So they're going to investigate crime in D.C. And they're going to, I would presume, ask questions about why are all of the efforts being focused on January 6th rather than the crimes in D.C.? Maybe Matthew Graves can answer the question for us. And so we'll, of course, see what the DOJ says in response to that and whether or not Matthew Graves ultimately appears to testify.